Hello guys, how are you? I think you are all fine and sound in health. Today I will try to discuss about the geopolitical significance of Greater East Asia. So before delve into the discussion, I will request you to that please subscribe my channel and press the bell button for further notification. So my friend, let's go. We will try to talk about the greater geopolitical importance of Southeast Asia and Asia Pacific. Basically, the Greater East Asia means the present Southeast Asia and Eastern Asia. This region has been remained significant historically, not only for its dwellers, but also for the overseas empires like Europe and America. This region is very important for global politics at present and also for the last 20th century. And what are the factors are responsible for such a geopolitical importance? We will try to discover it in our discussion. So my friend, the scholars who are studied largely over the region point out some important factors that creates this greater region more significant in international system. Some of them are the Chinese economic rise, Sino-Indian factor, US-China factor, a nuclear proliferation of North Korea, and also the discussion of ASEAN. So these are the factors which the scholars think is very important for present geopolitical scenario of the Greater East Asia, and it also is going to make the future in the coming future of this greater area in the perspective of global politics. So we will try to make some details in every factors in every section that will facilitate you to understand the regional politics from the global political perspective. The emergence of China and the Greater East Asia. It is essential to understand the rise of China as regional and major global power in terms of its economic dominance and expansion policies. In identifying the geopolitical shifting of the Greater East Asia, the study about China is a matter because of her global presence in terms of trade, manufacturing industries, investment, and socio-technological aspects. In addition, China is developing one of the major military strength in both sea, land, and air that are consolidated its existence in both regional and international system. Therefore, for better understand about the rise of China, we need to highlight two specific factors, namely the Chinese rise of economy and its indicators, and the second is the impact of this rising to globally, in particular to the Greater East Asia. Economic transformation of China can be identified also in three important factors. The first of that, China's impressive economic growth in terms of GDP for last 5 decades. It is started after a harsh financial crisis in 1997 and 1998. After the crisis, the People's Republic of China almost successfully maintained the growth above 6%. And in 1996, before the crisis of Chinese economy was above 6.5%. But in 2000, the economy rose to above 8.3%, and the rose gradually till the global financial crisis in 2008. Because of Chinese mass interdependence of American market, and as the crash happened in America, it was a great blow to Chinese economy. But after the crisis of Chinese gradually developed its economic traits, and now China is one of the biggest economy of the world in terms of GDP and also PPP. The second indicator is that China's trade with US. In USA, where China has been enjoyed an enormous surplus since the last 2 decades. This has been going on gradually. Therefore, Donald Trump identified this large deficit in balance of payment between Sino-US trade relation, addressing why US domestic economy has been slowing down and suggesting reconstruct its economics. Therefore, in 2018, Donald Trump declared war on trade against China, and so did China. And the third important indicator of China's economic success is that China tried to create some alternative systems on how to help others for a long time. The two giant global institutions like International Monetary Fund, World Bank provided every funding that would support this region including China. But the conditions in this assistance have not as favorable as they hope. So China needs to reconstruct the system to make its influence above the region. So that to change the situation, she established ASEAN Infrastructural Development Bank with the other great economic powers that allow many countries to access investment, assistance, and other opportunities. But importantly, it allows to expand Chinese economic interest through an institutional setup, through an international investment aid and debt. So these three indicators shows us that how China became a very dominant economic player in the global scenario, and in particular the Greater East Asia. What are the influences and consequences in such economic transformation of China? It can be identified into three phases. It influence of Chinese economic policies globally. It influences of Chinese policy at home. It changes and influences the Greater East Asia. China, after such outstanding economic transformation, adopts some aggressive economic policies such as Belt Road Initiative. This policy provides an enormous funding to many countries in the world, as well as more investments and interested development projects. But more importantly, it helps China to expand her economic policies and political ambitions in Greater East Asia. Another example is the diversification of the business carried out by the PRC authority. Here China not only developed manufacturing industries, but also others different areas such as low energy related products. This transformation also influenced over the political affairs at home. The Central Authority of PRC, means People's Republic of China, becomes more strong, and political freedom of outside Communist Party remained low. These are carried out by banning any social and political activism countrywide, and a strong policy approach of PRC in dealing with Hong Kong and other administrative regions. The last influence PRC's economic transformation is on the region. This is very important because what China expand in terms of economic rise has both contributed tensions and hope in the region. The complexities of Chinese economic rise, advances, Chinese military enlargement, and the immediate result of this is the South China Sea disputes, where Chinese government has been very aggressive in dealing with South China Sea. In addition, China promotes more and more regional integration in both East and Southeast Asia. Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership (RCEP) is one of the promoted initiatives for China. It incorporates China with ASEAN. It also contributes to the incorporate more other parties like USA and India and also Japan with China. So my friends, the second important factor that will try to create the new geopolitical scenario for the Greater East Asia is the Sino-US rivalry. The Greater East Asia, including Southeast Asia and East Asia, has been suffered a lot from the historic rivalry between China and USA. But at recent era, this rivalry has got intense heavily, both economically and politically. As I mentioned above that, the great trade deficiency among Sino-US trade relations and US internal market exploitation of Chinese product facilitated Donald Trump commencing trade war with China. Beside trade war, competition for area of influence over the Greater East Asia remained pivotal. Southeast and East Asia since the beginning of competition largely impacted because of it. And the COVID-19 pandemic is extended the rivalry. A blame game has been continued between the two states. In addition, this relation is getting worse because of Chinese expedition over the South China Sea, as termed as China Lake, and established many naval ports and developed Chinese military industrial capacity over the region. However, US has some political allies in Greater East Asia, and the Chinese emergence in the region with new equation against US delimited US position as a savior or a strategic and security partner for those allies. The Greater East Asia states basically are happy about China as the regional economic superpower, and this emphasizes on entering Chinese market, investment in it, and sodas from China. But Chinese huge economic existence with more expansion policies threaten over the regional states' sovereignty. So popular discontent and anti-Chinese mentality are gradually immersed throughout the region. Opposite mentality is also created for the US policy in the region. Those states in the Greater East Asia like ASEAN states are much tensed about Chinese due to US declined in implementation their policies over the region. And Donald Trump uncertain features and withdrew from TPP consolidated US presence at the region lightly. In addition, the US domestic destruction due to COVID-19 and Middle East repatriation policies would make her busy in coming years. Thus creates uncertainty over the region as they believe China would fill up the vacuum with her aggressive economic and South China Sea policies. The next important factors for geopolitical importance of Greater East Asia is Indo-China rivalry. Sino-US rivalry in the Greater East Asia and showing of US declining presence in the regions are facilitated India to engage in the region besides South Asia. India's outstanding economic transformation since the post-Cold War era make her a powerful political position in bargaining with others. Both China and India, with their economic development, remain potential in surpassing the US in very soon. So this criterion of India is also make her a strong strategic partner in both East and Southeast Asian development. In East Asia, though India has been a trading partner for both China and others, besides India has been a strategic partner of Korean Peninsula and Taiwan. That's the reason India sought against China's aggressive policy toward Taiwan and Hong Kong, and in the matter of South China Sea disputes. Though Chinese government since the beginning mocked over Indian expression as an outsider to the region, particularly for South China Sea, but India wants to extend its area of influence not only in South Asia but also in the Greater East Asia. That's why India becomes a great importance in her relation with ASEAN states and Japan. And simultaneously, these regional states supported India in going against regional offensive giant China. And the next importance factor is nuclear proliferation of North Korea. In Greater East Asian geopolitics, North Korea or DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, has been remained a powerful and ambiguous factor since 1970s. Though Korean War had a major impact over the region, but North Korea's intention of developing nuclear powers consolidated their strong position in studying both East and Southeast Asian politics. Though since beginning of DPRK's nuclear deployment, 5 legalized nuclear states including China, UK, France, USA and Russia did their best to de-escalate the nuclear proliferation of North Korea. But they got failed, and the North Koreans successfully tested their first nuclear in 2006. However, this testing is gradually developed. Weapons capabilities are also advanced. This testing justifies how crucial and serious tensions are emerging countries like Japan and South Korea, and the present deployment of nuclear warheads are supposed to threats on US mainland and other US allies over the region. Whether it seems like US is taking back its containment policy by terming DPRKs as a rogue state, North Korea can use the development as a tool of deterrence and a medium minimizing sanction against DPRKs. Even some scholars point out that if the US is going to use some same objectives of toppling the historic DPRK region by installing preemptive attacks, which will be disastrous not only for US and US allies but also for the greater East Asia. And the final one is for the geopolitical factors in greater East Asia is ASEAN. ASEAN is represent Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Since its beginning, it is remained one of the important factors in greater East Asian geopolitics. It commenced upon establishing both coherence and credibility among the nations of the region. Since beginning, it has become one of the efficient regional organization for various regions, including managing a diverse conflictual parties, promoting regionalism in about all diversification including religion, culture, linguistic and others, establishing the region as more peaceful than ever in history, functioning in accordance to EU's neo-functional process of strengthening the regional integration and facilitating trade relation with all over the world, particularly in the greater East Asia. But in recent days, ASEAN faces some major challenges. Sino-US rivalry is the major challenges for ASEAN, though these ASEAN states are unhappy with Chinese huge emergence as regional economic powers, as their internal existence is based on free market economy, so they are happy about it. But the competition between China and USA over the South China Sea at expanding their regional ambition threatens the very objectives of ASEAN. And recent trade war between China and USA causes a huge damage for the regional economy. However, like external forces, internal problems of ASEAN, such as the lack of obliged general norms, human rights, rule of law, democracy by some ASEAN states, the continuous hypocrisy in the name of democracy in Thailand and Myanmar, lack of accountability in Malaysia, the growing religious intolerance in Indonesia and Myanmar, the systematic persecution of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, and autocratic ruling in removal of drug trafficking in Philippines by military junta are some core challenges against the continuation of successful ASEAN. So these are these great factors which will create the future of greater East Asia. So my friend, this is for today. If you like the video, please press the like button. If you have any questions, type your question on the comment box below. Please, you can add something in my after my speaking, and I wish you will be okay. And thank you all.